Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Moving Forward podcast. My name is Rabi, and I'm here with Andy Lamrock. Hello, Andy.
Hey, Rabi, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing very good. How are you?
I'm great. What episode are we up to? Because that's our weekly count.
Well, this is episode 18, and it's interesting. We have a great topic for today. I know you weren't aware of this, which makes a lot of sense because this is something that people of my generation should know about only. So today we're talking
Okay.
today we're talking about the war between Apple and Fortnite. That was over dramatic.
Oh,
That was a bit over
uh,
dramatic. The ongoing dispute between Apple and Fortnite. Um, so let's talk about how this started. So Fortnite had an
hang on
update.
a tick. Stop.
All right,
Are
okay.
you telling me Apple and Fortnite are at war?
They're at each other's throats, to say the least.
Okay, I haven't heard the news. This should be good.
Well, Google is in the mix as well. So to to mention what happened, so Fortnite had an update to its mobile game designed to get around App Store guidelines that demand developers to use the platform owner's payment systems for in-app purchases. This gives Apple and Google a 30% cut every time you purchase something within an application that's digital, which makes it different from what you buy from Uber because that's a physical good where Apple and Google doesn't get that much of a cut. So the response came with Apple and Google removing Fortnite from the App Store and the Play Store, and Fortnite hit back with lawsuits suing the two companies for anti-competitive practices. Apple tried to show their good side, releasing a statement saying if Fortnite is to release an update that reverts it to comply with the guidelines, this whole issue would be remediated. And they went to mention that Fortnite has been one of the most successful developers on the App Store, growing into a multi-billion-dollar business that reaches millions of iOS customers around the world. So, what do we think of this, Andy? Is this just Apple and Google trying to make more money, or is there something else here?
Well, okay, so I haven't heard this story, but that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
I know for developers, the 30% charge to administer your games on their OSs has always been controversial, but
Hmm.
this is news, definitely 100%, Ravi. I've been a developer previously,
Hmm.
and having to contemplate whether we do in-app purchases or through the store augmentation of billing and things like that was always a contentious conversation. But if you think about it, before we get to the crux of the 30%, if you prescribe to this and you develop onto their platform, and
Hmm.
that gives you an audience, right? So
Yep.
they're they're helping you with your marketing, they're helping you with your reach, they're giving you a voice, they're giving you a platform to distribute. So not only are they marketing your product, they're distributing your product, and they're also collecting on the accounts
Hmm.
as well for you. Okay, and so if I was in a traditional business of a complete supply chain end to end and only had a 30% cost of goods on top of whatever my development costs were, that's not a bad position, to be quite frank.
Hmm.
Not a bad position. And that's quite often where people arrive. But that's how it started. There hasn't been much change to that since 2008 when we started to build apps for the App Store, right?
Yeah.
And obviously now Google's come along, they've adapted this exactly the same percentage
Hmm.
as well. So it's interesting to see a game grow that popular and be that profitable that it's now in a position to take on some of the biggest platforms it's relied on to build its business. That I think is interesting.
It's also such a powerful powerful platform like Fortnite. What something else that they did is they have a Twitch channel where millions and millions of views, and they made a video showing kind of a replica of an old Apple ad and showing Apple to be the dictator and the Fortnite to be the rebel that's gonna save the day and save the people from the dictator. So that if you think about this from a young generation point of view, you're gonna have a lot of kids that are gonna dislike Apple and they wouldn't really know why. but they know Apple is the bad guy. And it's also interesting when thinking about this with the difference between, from a financial perspective, between small and large developers. So the small developers clearly need the money more because they don't have much to start with. But at the same time, the large developers are being charged massive amounts of money, which makes it seem almost unfair.
Yeah, I think that you've got a really good point there. Maybe these platforms, Apple and Google, and I'm sure we're starting to see it develop on Alexa and all those sorts of things as well
Hmm.
as they come. Is that maybe with scale or volume, maybe you should be able to negotiate a discount or qualify for a discount in the
Hmm.
cost of service, right? The question I have though is if the cost to Apple to augment this on behalf of Fortnite from the delivery, etc., and the updates and all those sorts of
Yeah.
things, that has to be factored in as well.
Yeah.
And so, if you've got one user or a million users, the cost is relative. It's not proportionally cheaper, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a hard argument to make.
True.
But it's interesting. I mean, we've had revolutions against wages and hours that we work per week
Yeah.
all through history. Is this is
Taxes.
this the modern is this the modern day stockade? Is this the modern day, you know, rising up of the people to say this is not fair? It's got to be cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Taxes too. Like those things change all the time, but it's surprising how Apple and Google are not changing it when they're the most innovative companies in the world. You'd expect them to be going towards a more progressive way of looking at these solutions. But another thing to stress here is that Apple and Google claim that the App Store monopoly is there to protect users. Applications installed from their app stores are vetted and checked for scams, ransomwares, viruses. So it surely looks like a monopoly, but it's there for a reason. And I think for that reason, maybe we should consider, maybe it is good to have such a monopoly at this point.
Look, I think monopolies. There's always plenty of debate around the value of monopolies and all
Mm,
those sorts of things. I think what I find interesting in this is that what is unlike other business practices, if you become a really valued customer, and you'd have to consider Fortnite or any developer for that matter is a customer of Apple's.
yeah.
And so if they're bringing great users and they're bringing volume and they're growing in size, typically you can negotiate a discount. Okay. So, if you're a large organization that's got sites all around the world and hundreds of offices, etc., you can always negotiate a really good deal on your network, for
Yeah.
example. Okay. Um, or your ERP solution, right? You get these volume discounts.
Hmm.
This is not happening in this case, and I think this is something to watch. We should watch this closely, Robbie. I know this is your little sweet spot. You
Yeah, it
love
hits
this
home for
game.
me.
It's your generation, right? Um, this is a good topic. We should watch this closely.
Yeah, and I have played Fortnite. I play Fortnite occasionally. It used to be more fun than now, but it's still a game that is massively popular around the globe. And it would be very interesting to see what happens. But so far, we don't have any update on whether or not. Um, well, we know that the game is not back. It has not come back to the App Store and the Play Store. So we'll see how it goes. But that was episode
So
18.
I was going to say episode 18, but will Fortnite break the monopoly? Stand by and
That would be
watch.
crazy. That would be the power of the young generation coming into effect really early.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a takeover of the next generation. It's awesome to see that they could have a voice that strong.
Absolutely. Andy, thank you for being with me. That was episode 18 of the Moving Forward podcast. Thank you for listening. Till next time.
Don't forget to smile.